associations. We work with.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. There we go. So yes, we'll celebrate our anniversary in April. And except for the first year and a half or so, we've always worked in the university alumni market. Usually we have in the past worked with over 200 universities in the US and Canada. And we don't sell retail. So this is very exclusive itineraries that we develop and offer them in this beautiful little niche market of affinity travel in the university realm. I'm going to assume that a lot of you all have partaken in group travel in the past, but just very briefly, I'm going to tell you a little bit how our trips are organized. We are, all of our trips are fully escorted, meaning that when you exit the airport at your destination, you'll be greeted by one of our wonderful travel directors, and they will be with you the entire time. They are there to make sure that your experience is as good as it possibly can be. They're there if there's any problems with rooms, with diet, anything like that. They are there to help you navigate and have an exemplary experience wherever we are taking you. And I really do feel that our travel directing staff is the best in the business. They are outstanding. Most of them have been with us for many years, and they're all multilingual and very well versed in the ways of travel. And now they're very well versed in the protocols of safety as well. So that is a great benefit of traveling with this type of group travel. Another thing we do is we have an air department in our offices in Chicago. And there are a lot of benefits for booking air through us. There are, the airlines don't need group travelers that much anymore because they have the internet. And if they need to fill a plane, they can go on the internet and have a fire sale. But we do get good prices, and we don't issue tickets until 45 days prior to departure, which means if your circumstances change and you can't make it on the trip, you aren't on the hook for that ticket. Whereas if you decide to book your own ticket a year out in advance or something like that, you have 24 hours to change your mind, and then that's our old German air department chief used to say, the ticket becomes wallpaper. But of course, we don't have paper tickets anymore either. But, and the other thing is we monitor all our flights of all our groups. So if there is an irregularity, as the airlines like to call it, then we're there to help rebook you if necessary, alert the travel director on site that you're going to be late or delayed. And that is a big benefit. We of course have a 24-hour emergency line as well for any kind of irregularities. Regina mentioned that we do have an educational component in all of our programming. It's education light. There's no exams at the end of it, but normally in our land programs, we'll have 3 lectures during a week-long program. And it's usually local educators that come in and will lecture on the culture of the place, the history of the place, the art and architecture of the place. And it's a nice counterpoint to the excursions that are all included in our programs. One element that we've tried to add into all of our programs is culinary interest. And we try to give you an opportunity to at least sample the cuisine firsthand with a visit with a chef, or to a farmer's market, or to a cooking demonstration and lesson. So we try to include that with all of our programming. Travel with confidence. I want to tell you that in 2021, despite a very slow start, we traveled over 1,700 people. And out of those 1,700, we had 3 positive tests for COVID. So that's a pretty good percentage. We are very diligent in following the guidelines for whatever destination we happen to be in. We require all our suppliers to be fully vaccinated. All our travel staff is, all our guides are. And of course, we're requiring all of our passengers to be vaccinated. And now in 2022, we're going to be requiring that they be boosted as well. We also relaxed our cancellation fees. You can cancel up to 90 days prior to any departure and have a full refund of any deposit or any monies paid. One other nice thing about our programs, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of river cruises that we're going to be doing this year. We have on our river cruises something called no single supplement. And that means if you're a solo traveler, you don't have to pay anything additional to have a cabin on your own. And because of that, you know, if a ship has a maximum capacity of about 170, we're going to travel at about 135, which means there's a lot more space in the public areas. There's a lot more room to spread out. And that's, of course, on board these river cruises right now. They are asking that you do that, be masked in the public spaces and try to maintain some distance, except when you're eating and drinking, of course. And also our land programs, we max out the capacity of 28 passengers, but we still use the big motor coaches. So if we get to 28 on a departure, we'll have a 48-seater bus. So lots of room to spread out. So in moving forward, yeah, there's a lot of questions about entry requirements for different countries, but I think you're going to be seeing a lot of these things relaxed after this Omicron spike eases, which according to the experts, they think the peak here in the US is going to be around January 15th. And for a lot of these European destinations, they started their surge earlier than we did. So we're hopeful. We're hopeful for more good news on that front. And as I mentioned, we've been sending people for the last 7 months very successfully in getting the required tests for them whenever necessary. We just had 4 departures down the Holiday Markets cruise down the Rhine with over 100 passengers on each one of those cruises. And they had to be tested a lot because they were going to these holiday markets, and in Germany, they required a negative COVID test. So they had to end up taking, I think, 5 tests if they went on the extension at the beginning. And we had 0 positive tests. So I think there's good news emerging, and it's going to be allowing us to get back out there again. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about some of these programs we've got for 2022 coming up. And I know Regina sent you out an email the other day and said we were going to discuss 14 trips. I'm not going to go that deep into 14. I'm just going to start with a little in-depth, 5 of them, and then just give a really brief overview for the remainder. But if you have any questions, raise your hand or use the chat, and I'll be glad to stop and try to go into a little more detail if you'd like. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Dutch waterways of Holland and Belgium. We've already got 1 full departure on this with a good many Spartan travelers on it, and we're out. So we're offering a second departure now, May 2 to 10, and we do have space available on this one. It's a no single supplement program for solo travelers, and it's a delightful journey. It's unpacked one time on board the ship. The ship itself is called the Symphony. It's a Cross-Europe ship. I'm sorry, it's a Amadeus ship, and it travels with a maximum capacity of about 100. So we'll probably be at 75 passengers in total. So we're going to be starting in Amsterdam, and then we're going to be cruising the Upper Rhine and some of these other smaller tributaries to the Rhine. And it's just really a beautiful, delightful area. And of course, it's tulip time in April and May there. And this particular year was the Floriade year, which is once every 10-year extravaganza, garden festival, horticultural trade show, but it's just a spectacular display of tulips and every other kind of blooming flower. And we do spend a day at the Floriade this year. We start in Amsterdam, we end up in Antwerp, and stay on board the ship the whole time, so you unpack one time. Amsterdam, delightful city, one of my favorites, with the canals, with the spectacular houses that are so distinctive. We will be going to the Floriade, as I mentioned. And in addition to the Floriade, we'll have a visit to Keukenhof Gardens, which is this massive botanical garden right outside of Amsterdam, and guaranteed to see lots and lots of tulips, because they kind of like the trick that the Masters plays in Augusta in the golf tournament, where they, know how to make the azaleas bloom on time. They know how to make the tulips bloom on time. So there's always going to be a lot of them available in Keukenhof. But we do a cruise on the canals of Amsterdam, which is a highlight, and visit a floating market. Then we're going to cruise down the Rhine, or up the Rhine, I should say, and one of the tributaries, and go to the beautiful little jewel box town of Bruges, where you can get some wonderful Belgian beer and chocolate. And they have chocolate in every shape and form imaginable, and I do mean every shape and form. Gatehorn is one of these beautiful little towns that we'll cruise by. You'll have a chance to stop and visit some of these. We'll be going to Delft, where you can get some beautiful china, if you're so inclined. And some other really spectacular little towns that are kind of off the beaten path, but wonderful pedestrian-friendly places. And as I mentioned, we end up in Antwerp, a major commercial city, but with some beautiful architecture as well. So that is our Dutch Waterways program. We'll move on to the Swiss Alps and Italian Lakes program, based in St. for 4 nights, and then Stresa in Italy for 4 nights. Beautiful time to be there. As you can see, we're down on the southern end of Switzerland, right on the southern slope of the Alps in St. And then we go down, actually transfer down to Bellagio to cruise on Lake Como, and then head over to Stresa in northern Italy, and 4 nights there. St. Moritz, beautiful resort town with a gorgeous lake. Our hotel fronts the lake, and we have all lakefront rooms. Beautiful walking area there. There's a great path all the way around the lake. It's just a great way to take in the sights in the Alps, surrounding Alps. In fact, that's our hotel up there. It's the Schweizerhof, great Swiss hotel. The Swiss are very good at hotels. This is the famous Bernina Express trains, a small gauge train that cruises through the Alps. Just a spectacular ride. It ends up in Tirano, over in Italy, on their northern slope of their Alps, or in Dolomites. And then you're going to transfer down through the spectacular pass toward Italy. You need a really good bus driver to navigate this, and we do have them. Just a spectacular day heading down to Italy. And then we're going to end up in Stresa on Lake Maggiore and the Borromean Islands. There's 3 little islands out there in the middle of well, close to the shore of the lake, and owned by one family, the Borromeans, and they're now open to the public. And just really spectacular thing to see and visit. This is Isola Bella, the largest of the 3, with the palace home there on the top. Bellagio, I mentioned that we would stop there on the transfer day down. We take a boat ride up Lake Como. You can wave to George Clooney at his big house on Lake Como as we go by. And we'll have lunch in Como. Beautiful setting. Lake Orta is one of the smaller of the Italian lakes, so we'll take a trip over there to see the Monastery of San Julio. And here's Isola Madra on Lake Maggiore. We also will spend some time there to see the absolutely exquisite gardens And then there's a day visit to Milan, which is really a highlight. In addition to the cathedral, we'll go see the painting, The Last Supper, as well as a behind the scenes visit to La Scala, probably the most famous opera house in the world. And a very fashion conscious, beautiful city is Milan. Next, we're going somewhere completely different. Head down to Southern Africa. This is a beautiful time to be there. It's a great time for seeing the animals, but it's a really fascinating program, I think, because it has a variety of experiences here. You're going to be exposed to the culture there, the history there, as well as having ample opportunity for the game drives. And then you have the spectacular experience of being on Rovos Rail, which is probably considered one of the most luxurious trains in the entire world. So we're going to start in Cape Town. Then we're going to fly you up to Hoedspruit, and that is where Thorny Bush Game Preserve is in the Kruger National Park. Then we'll go down to Johannesburg just for a day, and then embark on the Rovos Rail, where we'll head up to Zimbabwe with the final destination of Victoria Falls, where we'll stay there and actually have another chance on the way up, see Hwange National Park for another game drive, and Chobe, which is another spectacular national park. But we start off in Cape Town at the Mount Nelson Hotel, a super 5-star plus beautiful, beautiful hotel, and explore that area for 4 days. Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for so many, many years. We'll have a visit over there. But then we're going to go down and explore the unique environment of the Cape Peninsula and see penguins. Got to see penguins. Then we're going to fly up to Thorny Bush, which is a 6-star deluxe game lodge. Just spectacular. People absolutely love this experience. You'll do game drives morning and afternoon. You'll have a chance to eat out under the stars. We've got fantastic guides, and this is a private reserve. So they know the lay of the land very, very well, and they know where the animals are and where they're going to be active. So great experience. 3 nights there in Thorny Bush. And then through Johannesburg for 1 night, and then on to Rovos Rail. Absolutely spectacular experience. Nice. Staff is magnificent. Everything is included, all the meals, all the beverages, butler service. Just a really fine experience. We'll be 3 nights on that. Stop in Hwange on the way up, and then end up in Victoria Falls, which is spectacular. And our hotel is the Victoria Falls Hotel with views of the falls. And during this time, you'll have an opportunity to go over to Chobe for yet more game viewing. So moving back up to Europe, October 18 to 28, great time to be there. Should be during the grape harvest. And this is a program that for you folks that have traveled with us before and seen our stuff before, you might have said, well, I've seen that Italian Riviera program. I've seen that French Riviera program. And we have done both of them in the past separately, but we decided, wow, how great would it be to combine the 2 of them? So we're going to start off in Nice and explore that beautiful area in the Côte d'Azur. And then we'll transfer over to Sestri Levante on the Italian Riviera side, stopping in Genoa on the way over there for lunch and a little bit of a tour. But really just a spectacular part of the world and a great way to see it. This is typical of the understated architecture and style of the Côte d'Azur. This is Villefranche-sur-Mer. It's right outside of Nice, but it's pretty spectacular. And then every one of these towns, as you can see, along these waterfronts, there are all these wonderful little cafes that you'll be able to explore. But it won't just be about the Riviera. So you can see in the background there how the cliffs come right down toward the water. And up in there are these lovely little towns that we're going to go visit. Ez is one of them. Grasse is another, which is the center of perfume manufacturing in France. And St. Paul de Vence, which is one of my favorite little towns in the world. So charming and pedestrian friendly, and way up on top with spectacular views out over the Mediterranean. And of course, we're going to go over to Monaco and Monte Carlo, so you can slip into the casino there and at least buy a chip or two or lose some. And it's very much worth a visit. You don't need to, I don't think you need to go there more than once, but it's a delightful place to go for a day trip. And then we're going to go over to Sestri Levante and the Italian Riviera. And one of the highlights there, of course, is a visit to the Cinque Terre, which is the 5 little hillside towns that are right on the water and right up against the cliffs, where they're growing this fantastic Ligurian grape wines. They're all linked by a pedestrian path, which is a nice hike, but we're not going to make you do that. We're going to take you on a boat ride for part of it, and then we'll get out and we'll have lunch in Manarola, which is one of the 5 towns, but just really a spectacular experience and a great day. Santa Margherita, I think, is a real gem that is next to Portofino and just down the road from Genoa. It gets kind of overlooked from Big Brother Portofino, which is actually, it's a smaller town, but it's much more celebrated, I guess, by celebrities and the like, and home for the €30 glass of beer. So it's, but very much worth a visit. Beautiful, beautiful town. Okay, then we're going to move up to Paris. And this is a unique program that actually Michigan State has done in the past in 2019 and had a really successful time with it. Had a wonderful lecturer from the school. And I think Regina would say that it was a great success and a great experience. It's going to be a great time to be there in late September. And it's just a really fascinating program, one that we've run very successfully. And we've got some great lecturers there, a great guide in Julia Brown, who's herself an expat, African-American, and been living there for many, many years. But it's just a fascinating program. But you're also going to get plenty of the traditional Paris, so to speak, as well as highlighting the remarkable migration of talented African-Americans to Paris between World War I and World War II. So we're staying in the Marais district in Paris, which is one of my favorites. Great location from which to get out and explore. There will be a day trip to Versailles available for those who would like to go out and see that magnificent palace. We'll do a cruise on the Seine and see that fantastic monument there to Mr. Eiffel. We'll also visit Notre Dame. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see that spire, but they are working to repair the damage to the cathedral right now, and you'll be able to see some of the progress that they're making there. But then we're going to really concentrate on the influence of African Americans in Paris in between World War I and World War II. Here's a photo of the Harlem Hellfighters. They were given that name by the Germans that they fought so courageously. They were one of the most highly decorated divisions in World War I for the American side. And they also had a distinction of having a really, really good jazz marching band. And they wowed the Parisians with their performances that when they were in Paris. And they pretty much kicked off the Jazz Age, which we will explore in depth, as well as have a visit to a jazz club, have a lecture on the Jazz Age and the role Josephine Baker had in World War II in fighting for the resistance in France, and not fighting, acting as a spy, actually. Really fascinating story. But we'll also examine cafe society and the intellectuals and poets and artists that were so influenced during the decades between the world wars and immediately after World War II. So really a well-rounded program, really fascinating stuff. And if you're interested in jazz at all, I would highly, highly recommend it. Okay, that's it for the pretty pictures at the moment. So I'm going to talk just very briefly about some of these other programs that we're going to be offering. The Wonders of Peru. You start off in Lima, but then we're going to get you up to the headwaters of the Amazon and do a 3-night cruise on a beautiful little 36-passenger boat. 3 nights in the Amazon is plenty. You're going to be able to see and experience an awful lot. You'll have an opportunity to swim with the piranhas if you'd like. That's coming up here pretty soon. Peru is open to American travelers right now. In March, we're going to do a new one for our Cuba programs called the African Diaspora. This is going to take a look at 7 nights in Havana. And this is really kind of a unique program in that the maximum capacity is only going to be 12 people. And we're in a little boutique privately held hotel there. Be a great experience. But we'll examine the Afro-Cuban stimulation of the art there, Cuban music, Cuban culture, and Cuban religion, as well as going out and visiting a farm, going out and visiting a finca, and which is another big household, and explore a lot of the rest of Havana as well. Iberian treasures in Spain and Portugal. This starts in Madrid. You head down kind of diagonally towards southern Portugal, go through the land of the conquistadores, really kind of an undiscovered part of Spain. If you have already kind of hit the highlights there, this is a really interesting program. Slovenia, Croatia, and the Dalmatian coast in June. Beautiful time to be there. We start off in Ljubljana in Slovenia, get to go down to the coast and explore Piran there. Then we're going to head over to Zagreb in Croatia. 3 nights there at a fantastic hotel, the Esplanade, and then transfer down to the coast to Split, where we'll explore a lot of those little beautiful coastal towns, end up in Dubrovnik. Greece, we're going to be in Athens for 3 nights, 2 on the front end, 1 on the back end, and then down to the Peloponnesian Peninsula in Kalamata, a beautiful seaside town on the western coast of that peninsula. Scotland, Stirling. Stirling is a castle town right outside of Edinburgh, about 25 minutes outside. It's a great location to explore around. We will be going to Edinburgh a couple of times, and one time you're going to be able to view the military tattoo, which is a spectacular event where military bands from all over the world come to participate. And it's held in a stadium right underneath Edinburgh Castle that's all lit up, and it's really thrilling. And then finally, Basque Country, going to be based in San Sebastian, which is a great food town on the northeastern coast of Spain. But we'll go up into France to Biarritz and visit that area of the Basque territory. Go over to Bilbao to see the Guggenheim Museum there, and then have a trip down to Pamplona where they run the bulls, but you will not be running the bulls. A couple of more very briefly. These are also no single supplement programs, no additional charge for solo travelers. Romance on the Douro River is in Portugal, northern Portugal. We start off with 3 nights in Lisbon and then transfer up through Coimbra, a beautiful university town, and join our ship in Porto, which is right on the Atlantic Ocean, and then cruise due east towards Salamanca in Spain. It's a beautiful agricultural river. There's not much industry on it. We'll be able to visit the vineyards and the great estates as well. And then finally, holiday market cruise on the Rhine. As I mentioned earlier, we just had 4 very successful departures of this. It's a lot of fun, very festive time to be there. This is during the Advent season, when they have the Chris Kindle markets out in all the little German towns along the way. A lot of fun and a really good value. Unpack one time and you're on a week-long cruise. So while we're looking ahead, let's look to 2023 about some new places we are going to be going with Michigan State Spartans. United Arab Emirates. It's a new one for us. Should be a fascinating visit to the Middle East. The Cotswolds. We're in a little town in the midst of the Cotswolds. It's a great location to explore out, get down to Bath, get up to Oxford. Florence, Italy, in the serene season, we're calling it. It's going to be a little bit on shoulder season or off season, so you don't have the cruise ship crowds there. And we stay the entire week in Florence, and you get to explore that beautiful city at night when really there's no tourists around. And then finally, Spain and Andalusian Parador, which is in the little town of Antequera. And the itinerary includes all the great sites you need to see down in the southern part of Spain. So that's it for me. Regina, I think
Okay.
quite enough.
All right. Well, thanks. Actually, we had a couple of questions. First was, do you also reserve business and first class tickets with the same 45 plus day refund policy?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we don't actually issue the ticket, so it's not a refund. We don't even issue it until 45 days out.
Okay.
So.
All right. And the next question is, what happens with the land excursions if the Netherlands is still on lockdown, full or partial, or there are civil disturbances as they just had? And I'm assuming that's for the Dutch Waterways program.
Well, we're very carefully monitoring it. That's still about 135 days out. But we're concerned, of course, about the Netherlands being in lockdown. But as of the moment, we are hopeful that the news is going to continue to get better. And I don't think they're going to postpone that Floriade again. So that's a big tourist draw. I think their government is going to change their attitude toward that. But we're monitoring it. We will be in touch. We will keep you updated. We'll send you out regular notifications if you're booked on that program and give you your options.
Okay. Do we have any other questions at all? No others?
I see our great traveler, Bob Bow. Hey, Bob.
Yes, Bob has traveled on a number of our AHI trips before. So, and I know a few others of you out there have as well. Excuse me. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then what we'll do is we've got a door prize drawing, as I mentioned in my email, and AHI has graciously given us 3 $500 travel vouchers that are good if you book in up until December 31st of 2023. So I'm going to, I put your name in my bucket here, and I'm going to draw the name for the first voucher. So here we go. Okay. It goes to Linda Largo. Is Linda out there?
Yeah, I see her.
All right, wonderful. Congratulations. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and email you to get your information, and AHI will email it directly to you, the voucher. Okay. All right, for the next voucher, travel voucher from AHI, Charles Painter. Is Charles still there? Yep, I see you, Charles. Okay.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. All right, we got the third one coming here. Mary Wilson.
Okay, thank you.
All right, congratulations. Okay, we have a few more prizes. I've got a white Michigan State t-shirt. I don't know if you can see that here. And that goes to Kenneth Clegan. Is that how you pronounce your name?
It is. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. What I'll do is email you to get your correct size. Okay.
Thank you. Very good.
All right, let me put this on here so I don't forget. Okay. All right, now I have a green Michigan State t-shirt, kind of the same. And that goes to Patty Healy. Patty, are you there? All right, I'll email you as well. Okay. Next, we have a Michigan State visor. I'm not sure if you can see that. I know it's kind of distorted, but it's a visor, a hat visor. So, go. Oh, I grabbed two. Sorry. Gail Manny. Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Hi. It's good to see you. All right. All right. And the last thing I have is a Michigan State puzzle. It's a puzzle of Spartan Stadium. I don't know if you can see that there or not, but it's a nice puzzle. So, and Sharon Ashworth. Is Sharon here? We still have Sharon? I don't see her out there. Okay, well, then I'm going to pick somebody else. All right, Sue Olachek. Hey, Sue, you still there? Oh, yes, I see you there. Congratulations. I'll send that to you.
A puzzle.
Yes, a puzzle. Okay. So, all right. So moving forward, next week we do have another travel presentation, and that will be with Thomas P. Gohagen and Company. And then on Wednesday, January 19th, we will feature Odysseys Unlimited. So if you've registered for those, I will send you the link the day before. So if you have any questions regarding any of these tours that we have Bob has reviewed today, then you can find that information at our website, which is michst.ahitravel.com, or you can call AHI directly at 833-303-1333, and that's a dedicated line specifically for Michigan State alumni. So they can answer any questions you have. If you have questions regarding any of our tours that we offer, we're offering close to 50 trips this year. You can find that at our website, alumni.msu.edu/travel. Or you can give me a call at 888-697-2863. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Bob, so much, and AHI for graciously giving us the travel vouchers. I hope you have a good day and a good week, and see you later, and go green.
Go green.
Everybody.
All right.
Go green. Thank you from Rick and Kathy.
All right. Hi. How you doing?
Hi.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.